like the astronauts. The astronauts train for years and years and years before they go up for every contingency, for every single possibility. And some of the possibilities are 1 in a trillion, but they still train for them. Practice, practice, practice. The people that are doing the most, and Josh alluded to it himself, he practices. It's very easy to get sloppy after you've done a bunch of deals. I practice between 1 and 1.5 hours for this seminar, for every hour before the seminar. So I had in about 70, 80 hours, and the seminar's 50 hours long, 75, 80 hours that I practice. And I know what's on slide 1158. And then, you know, sometimes I skip 20, 30 slides, and I did skip because we had already gone over this stuff last night when I was working. And because we're going to talk about goals now, and if you don't see your vision, Bill Gates, I'm told, although I never asked him, he saw a computer in every house. Okay, and I told you yesterday, he now wishes he said he put two computers in every house, and most houses do have 2, right? Some have 3, 4, 5. And then he said, I should have said a computer in every house. I said on the entire planet. But they all practice. There's a slide coming up showing Hitler practicing. When he was practicing before he became chancellor in 1933, I think it was, maybe 32, he had over 1 million pictures taken of him, 1 million. In the right pose, the right this, the right hand gesture, the right, so he could be more effective. He studied great speakers before him. And arguably, Mr. Hitler, even though he was an asshole, he was one of the great orators of all time. In theory, we should be able to kill off the Russians easy, but we won't kill off the Russians because they're tough. They're tough. Now, when I went through Ranger School, they hung us from trees and put battery wires on our testicles. There are dozens and hundreds of lawsuits against the federal government because the guys couldn't have kids. They'd stake us out on ant hills and pour honey over us and let the ants eat us for 2 or 3 days. This was the training. And now, and you're right, I mean, when the spirit of the bayonet used to be to kill, and you're going through boot camp, you know, many have broken tooth, cracked jaw, because your drill sergeant hit you in the face with the butt of the rifle. And now you wonder why we're all cunts. That's why I bring my own security. I'm not ignoring you. In Toronto, somebody finally asked me, why did you bring the cricket bat? Snowflake. I said, because your school told me I should have security, which they did. I'm not going to pay a bunch of goons. No, I can do the same as they can. And I said, and then somebody asked me about 20 minutes, well, what do you do with a cricket bat? I swear to you. And then I jumped down off the stage and I said, because the first 5 or 6 of you aren't going to come at me, even though there's 400 of you, because you don't want to be the first 1, 2, or 3 that I knock their head off. But they had to ask me what I was going to do with a cricket bat. That's where we are. The thing that always amuses me is that current day movies and stuff, at the end of the movie, normally the people reconcile. That's not my experience. The higher performer, the higher the performance person, the less probability that they're going to reconcile with anybody. Why? Because they don't need anybody. And almost all the big hitters I know, and President Trump is a primary example of this, a preeminent example. Saying sorry is a weakness. Apologizing is a weakness. Saying you were wrong was a weakness. What do I say? I may be wrong, but I'm never in doubt. Every I know. Which flies in the face of all the bullshit now. President Trump doubles down, triples down. I don't know if you can quadruple down, but, and that's my experience with those guys. And the few really high-powered women that I've known. So again, it flies in the face of virtually everything you've been taught. Programming yourself and your habits really isn't that difficult when you understand what makes the synapses fire. It's not that hard. But you're not used to saying no. You're used to saying yes, or not saying anything and giving tacit approval. How many times, for those of you that have a significant other, does your significant other say something you know is just bullshit, that you just give in? Make peace, why make war, right? I don't fall into that category. And if you're used to saying yes just to not make war, or you're used to giving tacit approval just not to make war at home, that follows you in the rest of your life. That follows you in the rest of your life. And, but once you get used to it, like most spouses, significant others will say, God, he's changed, she's changed. Most will say for the worse, until you get traction, until you get momentum. Oh God, I like the new roles. I like the new this. I like flying first class. That damn's a genius now. But that takes some time. That takes some time. There's a slide of a big pile of crap 5 or 6 slides ago, and most of what you've learned to date about creating generational wealth, being an entrepreneur, starting a business is crap. I heard somebody say earlier about a business plan. Business plans are passe, they're not needed. I'll explain to you later why they're not needed. Because a business plan is just a wild ass guess. I've never seen in 50 years of doing this a business plan fail on paper. I'm going to say that, these are Navy guys, so I'm going to say it again. I've never seen a business plan fail on paper. Why? Because you put the most optimistic shit in there, right? So who's going to believe a business plan? Only morons. That's why they're not needed. If you can't sell your dream, nobody's going to join you. Oprah Winfrey's got a saying about, it's not exactly important where the bus is going, but the people that you have on the bus with you, because you're going to morph, you're going to pivot, which is true. And if you are not enthusiastic, overwhelmingly enthusiastic, that's not been one of my shortcomings. I've always been enthusiastic, and I've had good to great communication skills. And but you don't have, if your communication skills are 5% of mine, you have no problem being a billionaire. 5% of mine. 5%. And that's why I tell you, go to improv, go to Toastmasters, etc. I got an F in public speaking in high school. I got an F in public speaking in university, and I got a D in public speaking the second time in university. But then I went and made 250 speeches where I told you, and some of you don't believe me, they threw plates at me. They threw dinner rolls at me. But I didn't leave the podium. I emptied out auditoriums. My speaking skills were so poor. You think about what other people think, say about you, etc. But we really haven't dwelled on, because it's a waste of time, how much time you waste worrying. And of course you worry because you have thin skin. Adenauer, the former mayor of Berlin, said the thick skin was a gift from God. Thick skin, he was a politician, very successful politician. And Sally calls me rhino skin because it takes I can't remember the last time that somebody said something that, well, I can't ever remember since I'm a kid, somebody saying something that hurt me. Hurt my feelings. I think back about it, I can't remember. And I'm sure everybody in this room can remember somebody saying something about them that hurt your feelings. I can't remember, and you can remember, because I just, I wasn't raised that way.